Today we have the 2022 Nissan Pathfinder, and it is redone from the ground up, and there's a lot to like about it. I'm gonna give you a full detailed look at everything on the outside, the inside, and of course we're gonna take it for a test drive. Let's go ahead and check it out. Real quick, thank you so much for watching. My name is Nolan, but also a big thank you to McGavock Nissan in Rockwall, Texas for letting me take this out to show you guys. If you're in the DFW area or in the market for a Nissan, be sure to check them out. I'll put their information in the description below. But let's go ahead and get into it. Now let's dive into the exterior, and this is an all-new redesign, and they wanted a more rugged look, a wider stance, and some larger fenders to give it a more traditional look like the old Pathfinder. And trim levels are going to start with the base S, the SV, which we have, the SL, and the top end Platinum. And right up front, I've got to say, I'm a bigger fan of this redesign than the previous generation. You've kind of got a little bit more of a muscular front end. You've got the large, more squared off V-motion grille. What do y'all think of the way this looks? You're gonna get LED headlights and LED daytime running lights standard. It's kind of this angular C-shaped design with those LED high and low beams, but an incandescent turn signal on this SV trim. And we don't have any on this model, but on the upper trims, you can get LED fog lights. And this paint color is called Deep Ocean Blue. It is a metallic-y looking paint. When that sun glistens on it, it does look pretty nice. And what do y'all think of the new redesign? This definitely has a more edgier, boxier, a little bit more of a rugged look, especially when we get to the back, but leave your thoughts down below. And with the wheels, we're gonna get these gray 18-inch wheels on the SV trim. The upper trim levels will give you 20-inch wheels, at least the Platinum, and then optional on the SL. And these are actually wider tires than before. They're 255 60 series tires here to give you a little bit better grip. In the mirror, we're gonna get these LED turn signals in every single mirror with the body color cap on there. Even got blind spot indicators in there as well. If you want, you can get upper trim levels with power folding and reverse tilting function. And backing out, you'll see a little bit of chrome trim under the windows. You've got the roof rack up there. We actually have the crossbars installed, but the roof rack is on everything except the base. It even says Pathfinder on the little coating down below, so you kind of have some unique fender flares with a little bit of cladding on there. And then the back, you definitely see the boxier design. And dimensionally, this is actually a tad shorter than last year, but it's wider at 197.8 inches long and about 78 inches wide, and ground clearance is fairly low at about 7.1 inches. Another Nissan tradition is the floating roof, so you can see that pillar kind of gets split in half, so it looks like you've got a floating roof back here. And they wanted a boxier design, and you can see that with this rear end. You've got an incandescent turn signal back here, but you've got some LED, slim LED taillights. I like Pathfinder written across it. It's kind of a bold move back there, and then some more cladding back here with this bumper. And check it out, you might not be able to see it very well, but you do get rear parking sonar standard on every single model. Those little dots, those are sensors. And then there's a spare tire underneath of the vehicle. Now coming back to the cargo area, it's gonna be a manual lift gate on the bottom two trims, but you can get a power lift gate optional on this SV. Otherwise it's standard on the SL, and then it's a hands-free lift gate, motion activated lift gate on the top Platinum. So the way we get in here, there's just a little handle right here for these manual lift gates, and it pretty much lifts up on its own. There is a grab handle up there as well. And the space behind the third row is better than you'll find in some three-row competitors. It's definitely big enough to fit a few items back here. Let me go ahead and throw my backpack here. Now, thanks to the fact that it's not a crazy like angular slope, you can actually stack some taller items here and probably fit carry-on suitcases, etc. behind the third row, which is great to see. You also got a couple of tie downs back here. Check it out, we've got a hook right there, which could be good for a cargo net or grocery bags. You're gonna find that on this side as well. Those can actually be really handy. There's a 12-volt power outlet, and underfloor storage is becoming more and more popular. Nissan already had this, but they made this even larger than it was before. And it looks like you could fit a lot of items back here. Over 50 liters is what Nissan says. And then to lower the third rows down, you've got a 60-40 split, which is nice. If the headrest is up, all you gotta do is pull that strap to lower it down. And then you can lift this, push it down, pretty minimal effort. There's no handle to do it back here like that, but just manually, not too bad. And then you get about 50 cubic feet behind that second row. So this is pretty good, and it's a pretty seamless transition into that floor. And if you want to fold the second row down, you do have to come to the second row to do that. It's pretty easy, but I'd like to see maybe a pull tab in the back. All you gotta do is pull that, and then boom, that comes down real easily. And then with everything folded down, you've got 80 cubic feet back here. And the best part is how wide it is, and it's tall too, but you can actually fit 4-foot wide plywood sheets back here in between those wheel wells. So very spacious overall and fairly flat too. Now for the keyless access, Nissan gives you the same key fob they've been rocking for a little while. It's slim and fits into your pocket, and we get remote start on everything except the base model. So the intelligent hands-free or keyless access is on every trim level. Push that button to lock it, the mirror will flash, and you've got a sensor in the back to unlock it. Easy, just like that. Now hopping into the front seats, of course with the SV, this is one of the lower trims, we've got cloth seats. So this and the S base model are going to give you these cloth seats. And check it out, they look nice, they also feel nice. I like the pattern on them and the bolstering. I've actually got a little bit of side bolstering, although it's not too aggressive. And same with the bottom, it's fairly flat on the bottom, and thanks to the height of the Pathfinder, it's really easy to get in and out. Like I said, you get cloth, but you can get leather on the SL or the semi-aniline leather on the Platinum model if you really want to go up in style. And the base model gives you manual adjustments, but you've got 10-way power adjustment on everything else here. So you've got 2-way lumbar, you've got a tilt and reclining function. There's no thigh extension, at least on this trim level. And if you want heated seats, they're standard on our SV model and every trim higher than that. So everything except the base in the US. And if you want cooled seats, you can get those on the top end Platinum model. And this is a leather wrapped steering wheel. You've got a flat bottom. This does feel really nice as well. The leather wheel is going to be on everything except the base model. And you can even get this steering wheel heated on the SL and Platinum model. And it's basic tilt, manual tilt and telescoping, but it will be memory setting, power adjustable on the Platinum model. Now let's climb into the second row, and this is an 8-passenger vehicle standard with captain's chairs optional to make it a 7-passenger vehicle. The base model is going to give you a bench seat standard no matter what, so it'll be 8 passengers. The SV and SL can give you captain's chairs optional, so you have 2 separate chairs, and the Platinum is only going to be captain's chairs, so a 7-passenger in the Platinum. And then sitting behind where I would normally sit at 5'9", got really good foot space. That's actually a great place to put your feet. Got good knee space. There is a cutout right here, so if you have to sit further back, you've got a shorter person, their knees can fit in there pretty well. It's even smooth and flat across here, so fitting 3 people across should not be too bad. Headroom is also excellent. Sit up tall, no problems whatsoever. And to get even more comfortable in the second row, you can recline a long ways. So you can scoot way back, lounge out, and have good space. And these seats can scoot forward and backward, so even if I scoot way up, let's see, I'm all the way up. I can sit all the way forward and still have enough room for my knees and my feet. And check this out, over on the door, you actually have 2 big cup holders. That is really nice, so you don't have to rely on the middle. Your kids can have some places to put stuff, and there's a storage area and bottle holder down below. The passenger still gets a nice soft armrest, but this upper material is a hard touch plastic in the SV trim. And there's a folding armrest in the middle, which even fits my large bottle. And then check this out, you've got your own climate control. So this is a tri-zone climate control system, so the back seats get their own automatic climate control. So you can control this from here. The driver or passenger up front can control it from there, or even lock the controls. But it's really nice to be able to control like fan speed, temperature, automatic, and where the vents even go, which is fantastic. Just below that, you've got a couple of USB charging ports. And in case you're wondering, the air vents are up overhead, which I actually like. You can blow them more directly at you or into a car seat. And one feature we don't have on our SV trim that you can get on the SL and Platinum is a pull-up built-in sunshade. One more thing we don't have that we can get in the Platinum is a 120 volt 3-prong outlet. Now the moment of truth, climbing into the third row. So check it out, you've got this easy one-touch system. So you just push that button and it will automatically kick that seat up and out of the way without you having to do anything except push that button. And Nissan says you can keep a car seat right there. Obviously you're not going to be able to move it quite as far, but the seat doesn't crunch or fold. It literally just lifts the entire seat up. So you can use this feature with a car seat back there, and this is on both sides. Now a quick look at the third row. This is technically a 3-passenger setup, so somebody small could sit in the middle, otherwise 2 on the sides fairly comfortably, and it's a 40-60 split, so you can have 1 person there and this folded down for cargo or vice versa. And take a look, that's a pretty wide opening to be able to get in and out of here, so that's really nice. Now I can actually fit behind this row or this seat when this seat is all the way forward, and I could sit up there with it all the way forward. If I have the seat all the way back, my knee runs into it. So somewhere in the middle, you can fit decent sized people in the second row and in the third row. And check it out, both sides even give you cup holders built in, and your third row passengers even get air conditioning vents on both sides. And even though the seatbelt is hitting me in the head, I can recline these seats, and I have them reclined right now, or you can sit up fairly tall. So it's nice that you can recline and actually get halfway comfortable for an adult in this third row. It's not great, but it's pretty darn good for this class of vehicle. Like I said, there are cup holders on both sides, but if you want USB ports anywhere back here, you're gonna have to get the SL and Platinum. And now as a test, I have my backpack in this seat, kind of like a car seat, we'll say. I'm gonna push this button to get out. Boom, and it just tosses that thing right out of the way. Good to go. And we are inside, foot on the brake, let's start it up. You'll notice you've got a digital display there and a good sized display here. Nissan wanted an open and spacious design, and of course you'll see all new materials and technology. And standard in here on every single Pathfinder is the Nissan Safety Shield 360, which is a variety of features to basically give you protection on all sides of the vehicle, like forward collision warning, the blind spot indicators, things like that. Now looking over at the door right away, you've actually got some nice material up top, and I like kind of this two-tone look with this, with the darker material here, and this is a nice large padded armrest, a good grab handle here as well, and these are all one-touch automatic windows, and you've got some storage down here. Does my bottle fit? Oh yeah, fits nice and easy. Just to the inside, you still get nicer material right here with a little bit of stitching. It looks good. And you've got interior brightness controls and your steering assist button, so you can press that to turn that off or on. And like I said before, this is a leather wrapped steering wheel. It is flat bottom and it's comfortable to hold on to as well. It's got all the necessary controls for your driver assist features, your radio controls, phone controls, cruise control, all of that on here. You'll even see that you have paddle shifters on here, these little paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel. And then right in front of us, you've got a couple of physical gauges on the sides and then a 7-inch digital display in the middle. And Nissan gives you a lot of information on here. It's very clear as well. So using the steering wheel, you can control everything that you see from your trip computer, and don't mind the miles per gallon. This is like 0 time driving this thing and just sitting still. But you can see your audio, you can see your safety systems on here, and some different settings you can change. If you really want, you can go up to the Platinum and get a 12.3-inch digital cluster, fully digital, and a 10-plus-inch head-up display that's gonna project on the windshield. Now talking about materials, there's a lot more nicer materials in here. Even up here is like a soft material all across here behind the screen, and this just looks nice, it feels nice, everything feels like it's well put together. One thing I gotta complain about is that there's a lot of piano black in here, piano black trim pieces. If you move up in trim level, you will get a more metallic brushed finish instead of piano black everywhere. And check it out, we've got almost kind of like a tablet style, as you'll see in a lot of vehicles nowadays. This is an 8-inch screen on the bottom two trims, so the S and SV. I like how you still have a volume knob and a tuning knob, and you've got these physical shortcuts and controls down here. This still looks very similar to what you'll see on some other Nissan products. All trims are going to give you Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but there's a bonus that I'll talk about in a second. So it takes up the whole screen. It's very easy to use. It's a very simple system to use from Nissan right here. There's a lot of different things you can customize. Go to your settings and there's a lot of different things you can change. Nothing super fancy, but it's clear to see and easy to operate. And if this screen isn't enough for you, you can go to the SL and Platinum and get a 9-inch screen with a Bose speaker system and wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. Then moving down, you've got your start button to the left, your climate controls down here, and this is technically a tri-zone because it's dual zone up front and single zone for the back seats. You've got your 3-tier heated seat buttons over here. Ventilated seats will be here on the Platinum trim, but you've got actual knobs for temperature control, buttons for fan speed, directional changes. You can even turn off the rear air conditioning. You can control the rear air conditioning temperature from here, and you can even lock it so that your kids in the back don't mess around with the temperature back there either. Coming down a little bit further, you've got a rubber mat down here for storage. You've got a 12-volt power outlet and 2 USB ports, a regular and a USB Type-C down there. A wireless charging pad will be optional on the SL and standard on the Platinum, but we don't have it. And check out this shifter. Let me go ahead and go into reverse. It doesn't actually move the entire shifter. There's just a little button on the side. Move up to reverse. And on these trims, the lower trims, you're going to get just this basic backup camera. It will have dynamic guidance lines, which is nice. But if you want the surround vision camera, the intelligent view monitor, that's on the top two SL and Platinum. And then coming back even more, you've got an electronic parking brake, a brake hold button, turn off your auto stop start, and then the drive modes. And if you have the all-wheel drive version, this will give you even more drive modes. And with our front-wheel drive model, we've got towing, sport, standard, regular mode, eco, and snow. With the all-wheel drive, it's going to add mud and ruts and sand. One bonus to this kind of center stack is that not only do you have a nice padded design on both sides, but there's also a storage bin down below. That storage bin could be used to hide some items or even just store random things out of sight. And Nissan has done a good job with cubbies. You've got a little cubby in the front, could be for a phone or keys or whatever. And then these bottle holders are nice as well. I like the shape of them. They accommodate larger drinks, smaller drinks, and it's out of the way of your controls here. Come back a little more. I like how it actually says Pathfinder on here. It's just a nice touch. It's a wide armrest too. It's got nice padding. It's a really nice material. And then you've got one kind of medium-sized storage bin right here. There's no USBs or anything like that in here. Another nice little cubby is this little tray right here, which actually has a rubber liner, and it even says Pathfinder on it. So Nissan's definitely proud of the Pathfinder. Then you've got a lockable glove box. And then right there, you'll find a regular manual flipping mirror. You can get an automatic dimming rearview mirror on the top two trims. Overhead, you'll find a sunglass holder as well. Those are starting to kind of go away. And there's no sunroof or moonroof in this model, but you can get a panoramic roof optional on the SV and SL. Otherwise, it'll be standard on the Platinum. And check it out, you've got nice large visors that actually slide. So good to go with that. And a quick look at visibility. So this is a little bit more boxier shaped, and it doesn't have a huge pillar back there. So you've actually got a window that you can kind of see out of a blind spot. Obviously the seats are down right now, but it's a little bit better than some other crossovers. Okay, so under the hood 2022, you've got some similarities and one big difference. Now the similarity is that this is still the direct injected VQ 3.5 liter V6. I'm really glad that they kept this. This is the only powertrain option that you get right now. But my favorite thing is that this comes standard now with a 9-speed automatic transmission. No longer do you have the CVT, and maybe this will work its way into some other Nissans, but miles per gallon is a little bit interesting because it's front-wheel drive standard. They call it intelligent four-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive is optional, but the all-wheel drive is actually more efficient at up to 27 miles per gallon on the highway versus 26 miles per gallon on the highway. So that's a little bit interesting, but both are right around 23 miles per gallon combined. But another really cool thing is that towing is 3,500 pounds standard, which is okay, but it can tow up to 6,000 pounds, which is actually quite good for this class. Most top out at about 5,000. All right, y'all, let's get behind the wheel of this Nissan Pathfinder. So, full disclosure, I have not driven a Pathfinder before. This is my first time driving any of the Pathfinder generations. And I'll give you my first impressions with it. It's the fact that it feels pretty smooth. Like, it's very quiet and it just feels smooth overall. The ride is a little bit stiffer than I thought it would be, but it's kind of confusing. Sometimes it feels a little stiff, but sometimes you're like, wow, this vehicle is really smooth. But we'll get on it in this test drive, and I want you to get a good idea of what it's like to drive the Pathfinder, and we'll see how that new 9-speed transmission handles the power from this V6. And so far, it's been a very unnoticeable transmission where you hardly even realize it's shifting, which is the way it, Nissan probably wants it to be, very smooth. But this is a really quiet cabin. Even just going low speeds, I can tell the second you shut the door, you just know it's quiet. You've got laminated glass in the front. This is laminated. Even the second windows, the second row windows are thicker than they were last generation. And the structural integrity of this Pathfinder is better than it was before too. So that might be part of the stiffness that we feel. There's a revised suspension in the back. That could also be a part of it. But it's just a more structurally sound, stiffer, quieter Pathfinder. What are the chances we would pull up behind a previous older generation Pathfinder? Now just a short acceleration here. There you go. You've got the nice sound of the V6. It was still very quiet, didn't hear a lot. It was just a little bit of pedal. But the 9-speed was pretty quick to respond and shift. And I like the fact that you have a naturally aspirated engine instead of a turbo. Maybe they'll offer a turbo sometime, but I like that the V6 is standard, especially for this size of a vehicle, and it's still an efficient engine, up to 27 miles per gallon on the highway with all-wheel drive. We'll get a better idea of handling here and some rougher pavement. And even though it kind of has a more tautness, a taut feel to it, it still handles bumps well. It's been a while since I've been in some other big 3-rows like this, but I like it. Maybe a little on the stiff side, but very compliant, not rough in the sense at all. And it's gonna have improved handling because it's got wider tires than previously, and Nissan upgraded the roll stiffness for the front and the back, so you're not gonna have quite as much body lean. That doesn't mean it's gonna feel sporty by any means. The steering still kind of has just your normal relaxed feel, like a lot of SUVs will. It's not going to be sporty. Nobody's going to care if this is sporty. It's just comfortable, and that's the main thing with this. It's a comfortable vehicle to drive. The seats are comfortable. The positioning here is comfortable, and it's very quiet. You barely hear anything. So far, that 9-speed is smooth. I like that. Now let's go ahead and put it in sport mode. So you got a little toggle right next to us here. It's in sport mode now. You also have an eco mode if you want to go that way, but we'll see how well it holds the RPMs. In the brakes, just a quick note on the brakes. No complaints with those. I've had limited time driving this, but it felt good to me. And in sport mode, like I said, get a little bit more pedal down here. And that sounded good. Nice crescendo of build-up power there. And that was partial throttle. It wasn't even full pedal, but compared to the CVT that they had before, like I said, I didn't drive it, but just from what I know of the CVTs, they can have a drone, they can have a kind of a weird accelerating feeling, almost like a wind up. So that's basically what it is. And this is going to be much more linear and much smoother. Pretty effortless acceleration. The one difference that you'll get with a turbocharged engine on some competitors is you don't have to put the accelerator down quite as far to get power quickly, like for city driving, but for most of the time I think a lot of you will prefer the feel of this naturally aspirated V6. But on a day-to-day, hopefully I can get one from Nissan soon to where I can do a night video and give you my thoughts after spending a week with it. But in my short time, I like the layout, I like where everything is, the cubbies, there's a ton of cup holders in here, and it's just so quiet and enjoyable to drive. Could be a very relaxing family vehicle that is practical at the same time. But let's go ahead and wrap things up. I'll give you my final thoughts. So to wrap things up on this 2022 Nissan Pathfinder, Nissan said they went back to the roots of the original Pathfinder. Not quite, because it's still a crossover, but it's a little bit more rugged looking. It's still very practical inside, and I think there's really a lot to like about it. You can still get the more luxurious features like cooled seats, panoramic roof, wireless CarPlay, things like that, if you want to, but this SV trim is a good value in itself at the second from the lowest trim level, and there's still options for quite a few features. And I really think that this 2022 Pathfinder is a good competitor for this 3-row class, and I'm really glad to see that they got this 9-speed automatic with this VQ V6 engine under the hood. But let me know what you think. That's what really matters. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to McGavock Nissan in Rockwall. If you're new to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below if you want to see new reviews every single week. Hit that thumbs up button if you liked it. Have a great day.